counseling is needed when an individual faces an emotional or psychological difficulty related now to workplace, in this case, so career-related challenges. So we would look at it in terms of three aspects, right? Because we would look at it, for example, learners and students, when they are facing uncertainty as to what to study, which subjects or subject fields to choose, that's for. So the factors would be more like uncertainty, loss of direction. So that would be one aspect in helping them when it comes to psychometric assessments and career guidance. Another one would be with employees who are already working. When we're looking at aspects such as job dissatisfaction or career transitions, they want to move from one career to another, but they don't know how. That's also one factor, or some of the factors that come through in which we deal with psychometric assessments and also qualifies for career counseling and guidance. And then another one would be with the job seekers. Obviously, when a job seeker is looking for employment, there are several factors that come at play. For example, the emotional toll of long-term unemployment, the anxiety, all those aspects come through. So that also is a factor that qualifies, but there isn't generally a criteria as to what qualifies you, what doesn't qualify you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems it's a lot of them. Tell me, what do the psychometric test for selection and recruitment purposes entail, and why are these tests necessary?
Okay, so our subdivision, vocational counseling, deals with selection testing for employers, right? So this would look at an employee, prospective employee's personality and also aptitude, where the natural potential lies. So what's the purpose of this? This is to align their results, or to align this results with their skills as well as with the job roles that is there. I would also like to mention, if that's okay.
Okay.
This tests do not discriminate. Not by any means. What they do is they measure an individual's ability, skills, and values in alignment to their prospective job roles.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand. So tell me, Miss, at what point is the counseling done? Is it before, during, or after?
So it can be done at any time. So it can be before, for example, in the aspect of learners or students before they get into employment, so that at least they know which field to get into, is their school, what they're studying. During, for employees, when they are facing, for example, workplace stress, when they want to improve workplace relationships, and just also deal with the workplace difficulties, because it is counseling in general. And then also the after. For example, if someone has lost their job, dealing with the impact that the job loss has on an individual emotionally now and psychologically as well. And also reframing the whole situation as an opportunity for new beginnings. And also building on individuals' self-esteem instead of now having another negative perception of it.
Tell me, Miss Kasheeta, have there been perhaps an incident where you had to counsel someone after losing a job? And what approaches do you take for this? Is it just the individual consent, or do you also include the family?
Okay. So yes, there has been cases. Now, we are situated in different regions in Namibia, and it varies, the approach varies on each practitioner or counselor, psychological counselor who deals with the client. I personally prefer more the person-centered approach, where I look at the impact of the job loss on the individual, also how we can reconstruct this. Instead of looking at it in a negative sense, what other opportunities can we take from this? Because there has been skills that have been cultivated, or that have been acquired in that role that they had, that they can foster on and then use in the future. So my aim is to reframe that from a negative to a more positive outlook. And we deal more with the individual. We do consider the family dynamics and the aspects and the impacts that it would have, but more individual based in the sense when we're dealing with the individual, because that's the one who comes to us.
Yeah, we have observed, especially in the marine industry, where some of those that lost their jobs have even went to an extent of taking their lives because they are unable to see. They don't want to see what is the right word now? They don't want to see what their families are going through. So I suppose that's why it's very important for the family also to be taken into consideration.
Yes, very important as well.
So tell me, how many people go through this system? Are you counseling perhaps per week also?
So the number varies. When you're talking to the system, you're referring to the NIS system. So usually there's two options. One when they're registering to apply, and another one if they wish to choose career counseling. So when we get those records, we usually call them and follow up. Are you still interested? Would you still like to go through career counseling? And then we have the walk-in clients that come in. And we have intakes, different intakes. So on a week, it would probably average from 5 to 10. But now that's just an average, an estimate right now. So the number tends to vary depending on the number of clients that we have coming in or individuals that we have coming in. Either it can be school children, it can be learners from institutions, it can be employees who are already working but just trying to see within a career transition what would be my other possibilities. And then it can also be job seekers who are like, okay, I am applying for jobs, but right now I'm experiencing a bit of frustration. I would want to know what other possibilities can I look towards. Because the psychometric assessments look at personality, they look at an individual's interest, and they look at an individual's aptitude, where the natural potential lies. So having all that information gives you a lot of leverage in terms of making informed decisions.
Is the public aware of the counseling the ministry provides, and what is the general understanding and perception of the public towards this service?
So the awareness is growing, but many still do not fully utilize the counseling services that are available. I remember we had a stand at the Windhoek Showgrounds, was it 2 weeks back, 2 weeks, 3 backs, and we had some interesting engagements with some of the public. Some of the parents, some of the employees were like, no, I actually have been through this service. It has been good. It has helped my child see school aspects, prospect aspects. For me, it has helped me cope or manage in this world. But the utilizing is still not fully utilized. So that is why we also do awareness sessions such as this to bring it out to the public that these services are available and to make use of them in the different aspects that they are.
Do you go out to the regions as well?
Yes, we do. We do orientation talks. The employment officers also go to the different regions and they do orientations as well. And then we also do sometimes community where the need be, and also if the resources and the time allows. We also try to do engagements and also career-themed events.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay, tell me, Ms. Kasheeta, what have been the major successes and challenges for the ministry in providing the counseling services, considering the long way to get a job, not finding one, or at all, and even job losses, perhaps?
Yeah. So success includes helping individuals manage stress. That's one of them. Another one is building resilience, because resilience is a very important quality to cultivate in life nowadays, and also finding new career paths. So as I mentioned earlier, we do psychometric assessments and we do counseling, but it's not a matter of if we find or a client comes to us and they are, for example, the emotional toll, because that's one of the challenges, the emotional toll on an individual as a result of long-term unemployment. We see that, okay, this client or this individual is facing this. We work sometimes where we refer on the basis as well. So if an individual comes, because sometimes the negative aspects and the challenges that can come with long-term unemployment can also be mental health issues such as depression. So in such a case, we would refer to the mental health unit. So you can see the referral process is also taking place to ensure that the individual is actually well taken care of. So that's the one thing. And then another challenge would also be the stigma. The stigma surrounding getting psychological support, be it in a career-related aspect, be it in a general just mental health aspect. There's still a lot of stigma around that. We are, and I also see the new generations and the older generations, and everyone is trying to work on that, but there's still a sort of a stigma around it when it comes to getting help to actually alleviate the symptoms or to get help to become a better version of oneself.
Okay.
So those are some of the challenges.
Do you provide this guidance in vernacular languages as well?
Depending on the counsellor on intake. So if the counsellor is Oshoambo speaking or Kohab speaking or Afrikaans speaking and the client is as well, then of course that can be done. So it all depends on the counsellor who's attending to the individual.
So you provide these services in vernacular languages as well.
Yes.
This has been a very productive discussion. Tell me, finally, before I let you go, how would you say the role of employment officers and psychological counselors in employment shapes and informs career choices?
So both roles are crucial in helping individuals make informed, thoughtful career decisions. So for psychological counselors, we help individuals understand their personal strengths, values, and emotional readiness. Now for specific careers. And then the employment officers, they provide more the practical aspect of it in terms of the skills and the technical aspects of it. So together, we create a balanced approach that addresses both the practical and psychological aspects of career development. Now, I would also like to mention on the aspect or on the part of the vernacular languages, because there are different aspects when it comes to vocational counseling. When it comes to the psychometric assessments, the mode of language of testing is English. Yes. When it comes to the counseling, that between the client and the counselor, that is now where the vernacular language option can come in. But as with regards to the psychometric assessments and the report writing, the mode of language is English.
So you can bring in, let's say, translators also.
We would have to get back to you on that with regards to bringing in translators, because it's a confidential setting. So now if you are bringing in a third party, for example, when you're looking at selection recruitment, that would bring about a few ethical issues. And also if you're bringing in a third party in a counseling session, say, for example, without the client's consent, also that would bring in ethical issues. So with regards to a translator, that would be a gray area. But as thus far, we have not faced any challenges with English being the mode of language of testing, be it for selection or recruitment or for psychometric assessments. So that's why the vernacular language or the translator has not been an aspect that has to be revisited.